Hey gamers and figure collectors, I am Cybersnake7 and welcome to my first video of 2018. Slightly delayed due to the fact that I've been waiting for this magnificent piece of artwork next to me. This is another First for Figures figure, and this is the second in the series from the Darksouls games. If you can remember back to February of last year, I picked up the Artorias, the Abyss Walker statue, and showed you the box and unboxed that and built it in front of you, and that is an absolutely fantastic piece of statue that's still sitting proudly in my cabinet. And this is the second one of that series, and of course I wanted to share it with you. Picking it up, it arrived yesterday. I didn't have a chance to do the video yesterday, so I'm doing it right now for you guys and ladies, of course, to the collectors out there. And this is of course the second in the series. Very happy to receive this. As I say, long in the waiting, but well worth the wait, believe me. You know, Alex and Chucks, they do a fantastic presentation on their channel, which I'll leave a link to, and they do a fantastic job of bringing these figures to the likes of me and other fellow collectors of this series. So let's crack on, guys. Let's have a look at the box, and as you can see, it's still a pretty big box. Nothing compared to the Artorias box. That was huge. I was standing up next to that box and it still overshadowed me, but this is slightly smaller but still quite a big box, so I managed to sit down and actually show you this one as we're talking. So first impressions, of course, the box itself is absolutely fantastic. It's artwork alone just for the box, it is a keeper. As I say, I'll never get rid of these boxes, specifically for the fact that if I did move home or wanted to take it somewhere, there's always a fantastic box to keep it in and to transport it wherever it's got to go. But as you can see, it's of course the Great Wolf Sif from the Dark Souls series, and this is the exclusive version, and that is more or less the proper life size of the statue that's actually in this box. So let's take a look at the box, guys, and as you can see, you got Sif, the Great Wolf, standing on a gravestone, which I'll go into more detail as I turn the box around. But fantastic artwork on the front, of course, and then on the side you get some really nice close-ups of Sif himself in different close-ups, and also like back shots of the figure, and on the back is then the synthesis of the figure itself. And of course, those who play Dark Souls know that Sif is the companion to Artorias. This is his wolf, and of course he guards Artorias' grave, which is obviously placed in the dark root gardens of the Dark Souls world. And as I say, these are close knit, and they are obviously, Artorias is his master, and he looks after his grave after his death, so he doesn't want anybody else to have the same fate as his basically master Artorias. But that's around about the synthesis on it. Now, the limited availability of this one is 1,000 pieces. I'm yet to find out what the serial number on mine was. Now, the Artorias figure was around the 800, I think it's actually 888 of 1,000, which I got, so it'd be nice to see what number I get on this one. So that's the synthesis on the back. Oh, and believe it or not, there it is. There's the product piece number, and it's 446. So I've gone down just over 400, just under 400 numbers. So that is amazing. I've got one that's pretty low, and I'm pretty happy with that. So that's the back art, guys. And then finally, we got a fantastic close-up of Sif on the side there, carrying his master sword. So this is going to be a pretty impressive piece. And there you go, guys, that is the box. So what we are now going to do is we're going to leave it here, and then we're going to flick down. I'll show you the box open, I'll show you the contents of the box, and then we're going to build this beauty and then pop him on his new plinth that I've got for him, and then show him off in its full glory. So guys, I'll leave it here, and we will now go straight to the unpacking and assembling of Sif, the Great Wolf. Back soon. Okay, so I've taken off the top half of the polystyrene covering, and as you can see it's packed very well and ready for assembly. So I'll just flick off the paper and show you what's inside. All new to me, don't know what's actually in here because this is the exclusive version, so it'll be interesting to see what I've got. And then we will then flick to the plinth that I've got for the statue, and we'll build it piece by piece and then take a closer look at this once it's finished and built and looking glorious. So let's rip back the paper. So firstly we have a very nice detailed plinth and the gravestone for Sif to be standing on, and then we have Sif himself, which is looking pretty damn amazing if you ask me. And also we have a selection of swords, which I do know about these. These are for the exclusive version, these swords, which you will see, and I'll pop these into their rightful places. And then of course we have his tail, which is a very well assembled, and it's like a magnet, which makes it a lot easier to assemble. And then finally we've got everything. We've got his master sword, and of course we've got an extra little box there which we'll take a look at shortly. So guys, that's basically everything in the box. Now let's flick to the new plinth that I've got to stand this statue on, and let's build it and then take a detailed look at it straight after. So back shortly guys. Okay guys, so here's the stand that Sif is going to be standing on. It's just a basic stand. Goes pretty well with the room. As you can see, it's white stand, because everything else is white in the room, and also because the fact that Sif is a very tall statue compared to Artorias, and he will not fit in the cabinet that's right next to me. So I found a place for him after we've built him, so you'll see that at the end of the video. So what I think we'll do is show you firstly what we got extra in the package, as this is the exclusive version. So first things first, just two cards. One is of course the obligatory registration card, so I'll register my figure, and all figures after this one will be the same serial number and the same, like 446 in the series of 1000 if I wanted to register it. So, and that's like a signed, also a signed card as well, must be by the guy who created and modelled the figure, I'm assuming. And then of course we have a Great Grey Wolf Sif print, as we did with Artorias, exactly the same nice little packaging the artwork comes in. And now I've got two of these, I will be framing them both. So there is the really nice art print of Sif on Artorias' grave. These will go well together in frames. They've got a perfect place for these. It looks actually darker, me looking at it now, than it would do actually when I'm filming it. You can actually see more detail as I'm filming this than looking at it straight ahead. But still, this is yeah, it is at 446 of 1000. So there you go guys, that is the print you get with it. And then we're going to take a look at the mysterious box that we've got. Now this wasn't expected. I did talk about there was going to be something extra put in the box, but they didn't actually say what it was going to be. So this is the presentation box that we've got, and let's take a look inside. So what we have is, can't quite work that out, but there you go. But it looks like, and it's a ring. It must be like a ring that's worn within the game. It's been a while since I've played it, so, but there you got a wolf logo on it. It does fit on the finger, it's quite big actually. But there you go, it is a ring, and you do get a stand for the ring as well. So you plonk that in there and it sits nicely in there. So that'll go in my cupboard actually, as part of my Darksouls collection up with Artorias. I think that's a nice little extra, very unexpected, so it's brilliant. But I'll be keeping that in this box. and popping that with the collection next to Artorias. So fantastic little extra item there, a very collectible Darksouls ring. So guys, that is that. So let's get on with the meat and potatoes and let's get this figure set up. So firstly, pick up the main piece, which is of course the actual gravestone of Artorias, and this is a fairly heavy piece. You can see nice detailed writing on there and nice greenery around it. So let's pop this down here. There we go. Right, there is the plinth. I might have to move this back because literally I think the camera is going to have to be moved up because he is quite a big guy once he sits on here. So there's the actual plinth. As I say, what we'll do, we'll assemble it and then we'll go round it close-up details after. So that's piece number one, guys. That's the actual gravestone. So let's get the main man himself, or should I say the main beast. Now this is one heavy dude, and here is Sif, or Sif should I say, and he looks absolutely beautiful and he's ready to place on top. Now there is a simple hole for one attachment that sits there, and there he is, absolutely perfectly sits on top, and that looks pretty damn good. Look at that, that looks amazing. I haven't even stuck his sword in yet. So his sword attaches here and that'll be popping out this way, so I'll just leave it like that. Hopefully you can see him. I'll get close up once we actually set him up fully, but this is pretty straightforward compared to the Artorias. There's a few pieces more. This is literally 3 pieces, 1, 2, attach the sword, and we do have extra swords which I'm going to have to place around certain sections on this tombstone, but we'll have to find out where they go. So first things first, let's get the master sword out, or his main sword. So as you can see, he has the handle in his mouth already, so it's just a case of attaching the sword. And here we have the sword, and as you can see, this is one of the swords, exactly the same sword actually that Artorias has. When you buy the exclusive Artorias edition, you got this sword as part of the 3 swords that you got with his package, but absolutely fantastic. As you see, this is huge. It's basically 3/4 arm length, so this is going to be pretty interesting to stick on here. So this should just slot in, if I'm correct. I've heard it only goes in one way. Ah, there you go, and we're in, and there you go. Can you see that? That's it. Sword being held in his mouth. Hopefully the light's okay, guys, you can see that, but I'll get close up shortly. But there is the statue and Sif fully built. Now we do have 4 extra swords, so let's take a look at these swords. Now the swords that I've got, I've found out, are the Black Knight Sword, the Gold Tracer, the Sunlight Sword, and the Silver Knight Straight Sword. So I'm not too sure which ones are which, but when I watched the video of these guys doing this last year, they said these were actually going to be metal, and they certainly are, and they're fantastic. You can't really see much in terms of detail, get close up to you, but there are, or is the first one, I think this is the Silver Knight Straight Sword if I'm correct, but detail wise very, very nice. And these actually sit somewhere at the bottom of the gravestone, but I've got to find out because there's certain spots for certain swords, you see, so this is going to be interesting. I've got one hole there. Let's get the swords out first, and then we'll take a closer look at the swords. So there's the one, and I think this is possibly either the Black Knight or the Gold Tracer. So there's the Gold Tracer or the Black Knight sword, which is yet again absolutely superb detail. Very, very nice indeed. I'll do a close-up of all these swords on the floor once I've got them all out. And then thirdly, this looks like, I'm guessing, the Sunlight sword. I may be incorrect about that, but there you go. There's the third sword. It's a basic plain sword, that is, not much detail to this one. And then finally we have the last sword. Ah, now this must be the Sunlight sword, because that is a pretty fancy sword. That is beautiful, fantastic detail on that one. That is very, very nice indeed. So there are the 4 swords. What I'll do is I'll pan down now, just to give you guys a quick look at that. So 1 second, and I'll pan down to the swords. Okay guys, so here are all the 4 swords, and they look pretty fantastic. But now all we've got to do now is find the right spot for all these swords and where they've got to go on the statue. So let's get back to trying to find the locations where these swords are going to go. Okay guys, we're back. Now, after searching for the correct locations of where the swords are going to go, we can now put those into the gravestone. And the eagle-eyed of you would have noticed there's something quite important that's missing from Sif, and it would be this, which is his massive tail. So let's pop that on, shall we? So let's turn him round, and obviously on the back you have a square section where this actually fits in, and it's magnetised, so that'll just pull straight in, and there we go, perfectly fit. Now that's what I call a complete Sif statue. So what we've got to do now is pop in the 4 swords, and sword number 1 of course is the long sword, which pops into the back like so. Sword number 2, this could be the Black Knight or the Gold Tracer, I'm not too sure. That pops in here. Sword number 3 is yet again, which I'm assuming this could be the Black Knight sword. That pops in there like so. And then last but not least, I think this is the Sunlight sword, which pops in over here. I can find the spot, there we go. Voila, done. All 4 swords sticking out of Artorias' grave. 4 warriors that were defeated by, of course, the Guardian Sif. So there you have it guys, the full complete statue is complete now, ready to show. So what I'll do now is cut this, and then we'll flick on to having a look at the detail and a close-up of the actual statue itself, and then we'll pop it in its place of where it's going to be sitting in my room for the future, and we'll call it a day then guys. So let's take a look at this statue in detail. Okay guys, let's take a look at Sif in its entirety, some close-up detail. So we'll start with his main body in his face, and fantastic paintwork and sculpture work, even down to the detail of his teeth. Absolutely awesome. Love the fur effect, really, really nice fur effect. And we'll take a look around this side at the sword. Fantastic sword. And we'll walk around this way. Check out his side of the side and his back. Superb detail on the wolf. And then of course we have his tail, which is a brilliant idea what they did with the magnetisation of that. Save packaging problems, so that was a very, very good idea of theirs. And then back round to this side, and then what we'll do is take a look at the tombstone itself. and you can see great detail of the foliage and the green, and then you can see the 4 swords sticking out from the sides of the gravestone. And we have a closer look up of the inscription on Artorius' grave. Fantastic detail there. And then around this side we have the other 2 swords, and the long sword like so. Really happy with this. Absolutely fantastic piece. So that's it, guys. There is the second in the series of the First of Figures Darksouls series collectible statuettes, and that's Sif. And very happy to have him. 11 months in the waiting, but well worth the wait. So guys, that's it, and what I'll do now is flick now to the final scene and show you where he's actually going to be sitting in my room permanently, and then we'll call it quits on the video, guys. So let's just flick to this final position. Okay guys, so here is his final place where he'll be sitting in my games room, and very happy. As I said before, fantastic figure, well worth the wait. And as I say, I'll leave a link to First of Figures down in the synthesis. Go check these guys out because they make some absolutely fantastic figures. And this is not going to be the last by any means of First of Figures for me, and it certainly won't be just Darksouls, let me put it that way. So expect to see some different statues within the next year, really, because these do take time to make and do take time to be released. So you know, it could be in 11 months time for all I know, but at the end of the day, absolutely happy with Sif, and of course my Artorius, which I'll do a pan of the Artorius and Sif at the end. And as I say, First of Figures have done a bang on job. Absolutely fantastic guys, and very happy to add this to my collection without doubt. So guys, I'm going to leave it there. This has been the unboxing of Sif, the Great White Wolf, from the Darksouls series from First of Figures. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. And please do leave a comment, do thumbs up, and please do subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And I shall see you in the next video, guys. So as always, I am Cybersnake7. Keep playing, keep collecting figures. All the best, guys. See you soon.